All right, guys, we got Coach McElwain. We'll start with an opening statement, and then we'll go to questions, guys.
I'll start with what a great crowd last week. It's the best one I've seen since I've been here. And as I said after the game, I really think that had a lot to do with our fast start in a lot of ways. I thought it was fantastic, and I really appreciate all those people coming out. We still, as I said, I don't think we're playing our best football. But the good thing is these guys believe, and they're doing a great job of figuring out how to win a little bit. And ultimately, that's kind of the end, the thing you want to happen. But excited about this weekend's game. Unbelievable what they've done with the program. Thomas has done an unbelievable job there. They're very, very physical. They play their tails off. This will be a great test to see how our guys are, and if we can match their toughness. That's got to be a huge piece of this game. Obviously, they lead the league and are in the driver's seat, with their wins that they've had. Beating, Georgia Tech on the road. I mean, I can't say enough good things about them. Defensively, they force you to really think. DJ does a great job with their defense. They give you a lot of different looks, and he's got them playing at a high level. Third downs are going to be keys for us offensively. And, with their offense, you can't get tired of having, gap responsibility, because they'll hit you with a big one, and they've got plenty of guys they can do that with. So on the injury front, Jacory, I'd say, is questionable. He's trying to do some things. Will definitely be limited. Troy Brown's still out, and Laquan is still out. We'll see where that, hits moving forward. And Pal Woods, who didn't play in the last game, has done some things this week, I would say doubtful, if you were to put it on those scales, but we'll see kind of moving forward from there. I think that's everybody. Do you have did I miss somebody you were wondering about? I think that's about it. Okay. For us, trying to string some wins together, I think it's really important for this program, especially the youth that we have, and obviously being able to be at home again. Hopefully we can get some people out, at a noon kickoff. Should be a great day. Really look forward to it. And, I don't know if we've got to put tents up for the people to come across from the Wayside or O'Kelly's and maybe just have them sleep here and just come right into the stadium. Maybe that's what we need to do, But, no, really looking forward to it, and it should be a great game.
All right, we'll open with questions. We'll go with Mitch.
Coach, happy Wednesday as always. When you're missing guys like Jacory, Troy, and Laquan, I mean, they said you guys are game breakers and they want to play, they're competitive, but I'm trying to find the right word for this, but do you share their frustration knowing they're game changers, but their body is just telling them they can't do it right now?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that, I listen to the kids. They've got to feel right. They've got to be 100%, ready to go in their minds, and they're doing everything they can to get ready. I don't question that at all. And yet, I'll defer to them in whatever it is, knowing that, whoever's taken over and the guys around them, we need to lift our level of play, until we can get those guys back.
All right, let's go with Jason.
Hey, Coach. This is more about you than the kids right now. So sorry to make you talk about yourself, but I noticed that with a win this
What do
week,
I
you
have?
could
Do I
get.
have a bad haircut or something?
No, you look great. You look great. But I noticed that with the win this weekend, you'll get to the big 60 for career wins for you. And the last time when you hit 50 was also against NIU. So to be able to, get the same win again, but just for you personally to be able to get to the next, I guess, milestone mark and stuff, what does that mean for you?
Well, that means I've had some really good players along the way, and had some great coaches and great staffs, and that's really what that means. We've been really fortunate, along the way to, get the kids out there, to put them in position to, get some wins, and that's about it.
All right, Christian.
Yeah, you mentioned Powell Wood's injury, but the guy that's stepping up in front of him, Keegan Smith.
Yeah, how about that? That's pretty cool. Guy just
Uh,
off the streets.
what are your
Yeah.
thoughts and evaluate his performance so far?
Well, I thought it was really good that he got a full game of work in. He'd been in, series here or there. But I think he kind of found out what it is to play college football on a every down basis. I think he'll learn a lot from that experience, and I expect him to be a lot better this week.
All right, Andy.
Hey, Jim. I thought of something last week when we were talking, and I think that you and I are probably both old enough to remember this, and enough. I know you're a baseball guy, but do you remember when they first came out? I think it was Tony La Russa said, "I'd rather win ugly than lose pretty."
100%. Yeah.
You and I were both a little bit younger back then, but
I thought you were going to say, like, 2 days ago was the day Reggie Jackson hit 3 straight home runs and became Mr. October. So.
Remember when Billy Martin pulled him off the field at Fenway? Anyway, these guys were speaking Chinese to these guys. They don't even know what we're talking about. So, but along those lines of, there is a lot of truth to that, and it's certainly, obviously better to win. But, and you touched on this too. But if you can maybe expound a little bit, you are finding a way to win, and maybe you aren't coming with your A game. Tiger Woods reference for you youngsters out there. Maybe you're not playing your best game.
That would hit the wheelhouse. I mean,
right.
Tiger Woods would hit the wheelhouse.
Right.
But,
so maybe you're not playing your best game, but there's an ingredient, or there's something there, an intangible or something that good teams find a way. Are you seeing that? I mean, it looks like to me that we're maybe seeing that from this team. To kind of look at it, the half full, half empty. I'm looking at it half full. I mean, do you see it that way, Jim? Do you get what I'm asking here?
No, I absolutely. I may have been accused during my life to kind of maybe not win as pretty as it should be. And yet a guy a long time ago told me, at the end of the day, the idea is to figure out how to win and get your guys to believe they can win. And, there's certain things that go into it, along the way. And, a big piece of it is your locker room and their belief that they can, their belief that they will. And based on their preparation, no matter what kind of occurs during a game, let's have an answer on how to fix it. And, we've got a long ways to go, and this program is heading in the right direction. And I think a big part of that is figuring out a way to win. And, we've just got to continue to do that. When we do figure it out, we got to figure out a new way to create revenue sources, because, the stands will be empty and they won't be sitting there buying popcorn if we don't keep them close. But, it's I think it's a testament really to the locker room, and those kids, as far as never doubting, and I think that's an important thing.
All right. What else we got? Mitch.
Before I ask my question, I want to point out I understood all three of Eddie's references he made. I'm
Yeah,
still
no,
young, but I'm not that young.
no,
But
I got.
but I was there after the game there last year against NAU. In the second half, it seemed like you guys could just do whatever you wanted. But you kind of mentioned
Didn't play
NAU
well. Didn't play well in the first half at all. They
didn't.
and yet whether we didn't play well or they took it to us. I think sometimes you got to give credit where credit is due, and I think that football team was starting to kind of believe in really what they've done as a program. You can tell has paid dividends this year because they're winning, and they're leaving no doubt from a physical standpoint. So, we had a couple things go our way a year ago. I think the fumble after a kickoff, and we got a little bit of momentum. And then they started really stacking the box, and I think Lou hit a couple runs, and KP might have got loose or something like that. But I think for us, understanding that right now in this league, every game, doesn't matter who it is, it's going to be a dogfight, and this is going to be no different.
Just to follow up on that, you kind of mentioned the physicality of NAU this year. How has the team kind of flipped that switch physicality wise over just one off season?
Yeah, and I don't, I think it's a credit. It's all a credit to their staff, their core beliefs, and getting their players to play with that kind of style. And to me, the credit goes out to Thomas and his leadership in what he's been able to do. Because it's not something that you can just flip a switch. This obviously started for them, a while back, and I'm sure it started for them when they got back after the year, whatever you want to call last year. That okay, this is where we're at. I think when you look at their roster, they're full of guys that they were able to go out and evaluate and build in their mold and their style and their want. And you can see those kids playing their tails off. And then the older guys said, you know what, this is pretty cool. Let's go do it.
All right, Jason.
I know they are much improved, but for your guys, how do you keep them kind of level-headed? The last two times you played them where these guys have been around the NIU, you beat them by 30 plus. How do you kind of not let them overlook them because of that?
I think it's pretty easy. You put the film on and you see what they're doing to other people, and you say, gosh, I hope that we don't get trucked like that. I think that is probably what it is. I think they've become Lombardi, the quarterback that transferred from Michigan State. I think it's really brought in some life into that offense as well, as far as an identity, and he kind of orchestrates it all. And I think that's been really good for him. So, but look, it's pretty easy for us to turn on the film and say, look, there isn't anybody looking at us saying, oh, they're really good, because right now we're really not. So I'm sure they're able to say those other scores didn't matter because these guys aren't very good, and I'm sure that's what they're telling their guys.
All right, Christian.
Yeah, we talked to Daniel on Monday, and he talked about his chemistry with Dallas being born on the practice squad on that 2019 team. I was just wondering if you had any recollection of that.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, there's stories like that throughout college football. I think was it Tua and Devontae, when they were on scout team in Alabama, and here's, two guys that they're being Heisman guys, as they kind of, I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I think that year of growth helps everybody. Today all these kids want to just come in and play, right? They don't sometimes realize what it takes to put in your time. And then, like you said, you kind of get used to, okay, this guy's kind of deal, right? I need to be here, or he's going to do that. And I think that's pretty cool that he mentioned that, actually.
All right, Andy.
You mentioned Lombardi, and it seems like every week you're seeing a guy that can, he's got the good legs and a good arm, and here's a guy who's experienced too. What do you learn from having played, these guys over the past couple of weeks? And I saw that Ohio quarterback ran for a 99.5-yard touchdown against Buffalo.
Imagine how tired he was by the time he got down there. I mean, I don't think I run 99 yards in a week. There's no doubt about it. But
I don't know if I can hit a golf ball 99 yards anymore. To be honest with you, Mac. But facing guys like this, and it just, I know you've won games, but it just wears the defense out, doesn't it? Having so much to think about with guys like that, isn't it?
Well, I remember, when you have a running quarterback, and this was said back before, kind of when that started to be in vogue, I guess, for lack of a better term, it's like you're defending 12 people, and you have to be so disciplined, so important with your assignment, your eyes, and it really forces you to focus every single play, because that guy can beat you if we don't account for him. So, defenses are doing a great job now, coming up with different, read beaters and different things, and applying a spy, when needed. And yet what that does also then leaves some guys on the island on the back end. So, for us, I think it's become more of an everyday deal, than it is. I think it's the norm, where before it was, it was different, right? Now I think that's the norm, and you have to build your defenses that way. But it puts a lot of pressure on you. I think about them in the Toledo game. It's 3rd and 19, and he takes off and gets a first down at the most crucial time in that game for them to win. Those are the kind of things that drive you crazy as a coach. But, he's a good player. Obviously proved that playing, in the Big Ten, and now he's doing it, in our league. Wished he'd have transferred somewhere else out of the league. That'd have been a good deal.
All right, what else we got for Mac? We good, guys?
All right, you guys have a great day, and appreciate you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Thanks, Rob.